Welcome back with another banger. It's the React Files. Hope you're having a good night. Let's get straight to it.
People say, you know what, we never landed on the moon. Yeah, we did land on the moon.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. But what they did was they showed you a combination of real moon footage and not real moon footage. And why would they do something like that? Because we went to the moon, but we lied about it. Because the moon was a reconnaissance mission. We're going to send these guys up there because we know there's stuff up there because they did several low lunar orbit missions and they saw what was there. We need to collect some of this debris and bring it back to figure out what the heck is that and who was up there and when. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of the moon's mission was really to covertly get this stuff and bring it back. And so we did go to the moon.
Hey, it's Glamham. I looked into debunking that Kamala Harris's husband somehow profited from the Hurricane Helene tragedy. The White House said that Albemarle, a company he supposedly is invested in, was awarded $90 million through the Defense Production Act. That immediately made me realize that Albemarle and lithium isn't all about electric vehicles. It's about the military. So while I was researching, I thought, well, let's just go to the source, the Securities and Exchange. I type in his name and I get a big fancy document that's to do with this situation. Remember this guy and how he defrauded people of a lot of money? I'm like, what does Doug Emhoff have to do with this? Well, it turns out he was at a party with some very famous people. I bet it was a fun party. Oh, look who else was there. Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh, dear. Oh, and I believe he's come out to support Kamala Harris. Well, that's interesting. Put a pin in that. Here's what one of the emails said in the evidence in that court case, and the main thing I want you to notice is the correlation between celebrity and politics. So the celebrities wanted to learn where to put their money, and the crypto people wanted free celebrities. Now, Leo is endorsing Kamala Harris, which I find slightly odd because he specifically attacked Trump on climate, which did surprise me because Leonardo exec produced an excellent documentary called Cowspiracy that indicated that climate change was in no small part affected by cattle and the meat industry. And I'm not aware that Kamala has done anything during her 4-year term as far as regulation of the cattle industry. So it's interesting that they want you to vote based upon this guy. You vote for who you want, but definitely do your research. See you in the comments. Take care.
If you want to know a lot about somebody, just pay attention to the company they keep. Shoutouts to Glam Ham Radio.
So to anyone who hasn't figured it out already, the mud and the dust all in Western North Carolina is toxic, and we don't really know what all's in it, but we know some of the things that are in it, and I'm going to show you some stuff on green screen. This is really important. You should watch. Also, sorry that I haven't been on. We had like death pneumonia. Okay, here we go. So here's the first one I want to show you. Up in Beatree, so like locals know this stuff, right? You can go on the EPA's website and find this. This is from their site. So there's about 535 acres of property in rural Swannanoa. It's called the Chemtronics Superfund site. And they have lots of chemicals up there that they manufactured, and then they were also I guess practicing how to contain it, and they were containing stuff up there. It got out. So anyway, so it'll tell you, okay, explosive, propellants, incapacitating agents, and a variety of specialty chemicals. They tested stuff. They did waste disposal. And then in 1983, the EPA placed the site on the Superfund program's national priorities list. And locals will tell you one of the things is barrels of Agent Orange. Let me show you something else. So, you know, they don't tell you everything. But like you can just go to Google and type in contaminants that are in Beatree, North Carolina. BC, a powerful hallucinogen used in chemical warfare in the 1960s. CS, a tear gas agent used during the Vietnam War. chlorinated and non-chlorinated solvents found in the waste disposal site, acidic solutions, but they don't tell you like all the stuff. Even their main website just says the majority of these chemicals were found. Let me show you some stuff from residents. So they are offering testing kits to people and asking them, please have your water tested, including your well water. They're like, well water is contaminated with sewage and all the problems that are going to happen when any flood happens. But we also have lots of manufacturing in the area. So here someone submitted some water from the Highway 9 spring, and it failed, and it did test positive for E. coli and coliform. And the same thing from a spring in Montreat. So I don't know what all they're testing it for, but these two things came up positive, and they're failing. Another concern residents have is this plastics plant that is near Marshall. So we all knew from the very beginning that a bunch of their chemicals and whatever got into the water. We knew this from the get-go. And here, there's a local doctor working in the area. Tons of people with skin irritations, respiratory illnesses. I see this in all the Facebook groups, all of them from all over, all the ones that I'm in. People are sick, they don't know why. They're talking about being fatigued for no reason, like feeling like they're an 80, 90-year-old arthritic patient. But tons of people are getting really bad respiratory illnesses, and it started after they were out, like breathing in the dust and stuff. And this is on top of the bacteria that, you know, comes from any flooding, from sewage mixing into creeks, wells, and just all the bacteria. It tells you here, cholera, salmonella, norovirus, and they can be deadly to some people. But officials are telling residents and anyone coming in to volunteer, make sure you have really, really good boots. They want you to wear pants that, like, basically when you see it in the movies where there's been some huge contamination event, or, you know, they don't know what's going on, they want you to wear all that kind of PPE. Like, make sure your pants are tucked into your boots and taped. Your, you know, arms are fully covered with not just medical gloves, but, like, you know, something you would use for, like, cleaning that you could wear with chemicals, and tape that around, and wear an N95 respirator if you're going to be breathing in dust, which is everywhere at this point. When we rolled in, like, 2-3 days after it first started, you could already smell tons of dust in the car that has a HEPA filter. But they are telling you might want to get a Tdap shot, which is tetanus, diphtheria, pertussis, and they're telling you may also want to get a hepatitis A shot, which is not something that's typical for every person. It's just like if you have liver problems, they'll advise that. And just for a bit of reference, here are some boots worn by a friend who were brand new, worn for 48 hours, was working in the mud up in the Beechtree area, and this is what they looked like after 48 hours. One more thing. Actually, two more things, because I forgot I had this one. So they are telling you, you know, they don't know what all's in there, and they say, you know, more guidance develop these websites. Federal and state agencies did not make an official available for interview, so no one was able to be interviewed to say anything that they know. And here's where I'm going to finish. While it shouldn't, it almost feels normal by now that residents feel they're receiving confusing public health information. So yeah, everything smells like decaying organic stuff that used to be alive, both animal and human. There's tons of chemicals, including from 2 concrete plants. I keep seeing day after day pictures of people that I'm not going to, like, put their picture here in the groups, showing all these crazy skin rashes and talking about these illnesses and fatigues and sunburn type rashes. Their skin looks sunburned and feels sunburned, but they've not had a sunburn. Joint pain, not being able to use their fingers. So yes, if you're going down there to volunteer, make sure you wear the appropriate PPE. Make sure you actually have a point of contact. All the donation requests are changing, and the sites are actually changing at this point. I'm sorry that I've been kind of with making these videos, because everything was changing, and, you know, I was laying on the couch wondering if I was going to make it. So I will get back to temporarily regularly scheduled, getting you guys as many resources as I can, because I've reached out, you know, to say, in this town, what can they bring and where can they bring it. They are wanting you to, at Silverados for sure, they are wanting you to make sure they know you're coming before you come now. All right. Thanks for watching and be safe.
Shout outs to Southern Appalachian. I wish her well. I wish her good health. And all the people going through it with these symptoms. Yes, if you're in the area, make sure you get your water checked. Definitely. This is insane.
The mud is so toxic, it's disintegrating the boots of people trying to clean up. So we have a real problem in our river that was the purest and cleanest water in the world is now completely toxic and disintegrating people's boots. Yeah, it's bad. We're in a very bad situation.
What's the river called?
The Tow River. The mud from the floods is disintegrating people's boots and their clothing. And my friend that lives down there says that when you wake up in the morning, it has a green haze over it. And they're having nosebleeds and coughing up blood. So anybody near these things is in serious trouble.
Where do all these toxins come from?
Well, so here in Mitchell County, we have the purest quartz in the world. So we have 2 mining companies that have been mining and conveniently both of their processing locations are on the water. So I'm assuming there may have been some leakage. And then, so I'm not sure what those chemicals could be, but I know it's toxic and it's disintegrating people's boots. And I'm assuming that's where it came from.
Well, guys, I'm back here in Swannanoa. I've been here for a few days now. And all I can say is that I see some progress being made from when I was here a few weeks ago. It's hard. Let me go ahead and say this. What progress they've made is not because of the Red Cross. It's not because of our military. When we were here a few weeks ago, the only Red Cross that we saw one van in a parking lot in Asheville. Did not see any in Swannanoa and Black Mountain or Boone. We encountered a lot of volunteers, a lot of people that was bringing their own side-by-sides, going up into the mountains looking for survivors, taking supplies to those who couldn't, come down off of the mountain, that sort of thing. We're 3 weeks past that now. And I can say now in Swannanoa, there is a Red Cross station set up that is offering showers as well as a place to do laundry. But I can tell you, weeks ago, they weren't here. But you know who was? The organizations that are still here offering the same services that are offered up the road at the Red Cross, as well as offering medical care, counseling, heat, clothes, food, any supplies that you need. Like, I've been going door to door talking to people, asking what they need, seeing if they, have something that I could go get them. I have transported a lot of supplies. And when those supplies are needed, if it is something I don't personally have, I don't go to the Red Cross station to get it. Why? Because they don't have that there. I go to these other private organizations here in Swannanoa that's been here from day one. They've been here from day one. There are the only military that I've seen are stationed I don't even know how I can talk about it. They're not here on the ground digging through debris. They're not here it takes me back. My stepdad was in the military, and he was deployed very shortly after But I remember when it happened, man, the government sprang into action. They sprang into action. And the search for survivors was amazing. Why did Western North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, why didn't they receive that? Can you imagine how many people could have been saved if there would have been people on the ground with, I mean, the military, they have those resources, and they're trained for that. There's all kinds of, canine dogs out here, like, doing searches, but it's individuals with their trained, they have training as well, but what I'm saying is the military should have been called into action. They should have been deployed here, not to help at supply centers. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me? I talked to a couple. They feel it's almost a waste of their time. It's an embarrassment. One said it's an embarrassment. The other one said, I feel like it's a waste of our time. They could be doing so much more important things. And now it's more like a recovery. It's not rescue anymore. I mean, there are still a few people being found, and I'm sure that there will be more people found that have been living off of their own resources up in the mountains that can't get down. But had there been the military called into action after this happened, instead of waiting weeks, think of the people who could have been saved. And if nothing else, just the people that could have been retrieved, so family could have had closure. But they weren't here. The people that are here are the kindness of people who have driven from sometimes states and states away. I have seen people from far up north, many out west, several, from West Virginia. Speaking of that road at Batcave, that is all thanks to West Virginia. Zero shows up when the road is complete. The road was completed, then they want to pull up in their truck. It's been a joke. It's been an absolute joke where the government is concerned. But I don't know, my heart just breaks because when I went to drop off a load of supplies that I had brought, I encountered a wonderful group of people that was building tiny houses. And that money to build those didn't come from that wasn't FEMA money. No, every bit of that money. And these people aren't being paid, they're volunteers. This was donated supplies. This was money that come from people that was making donations. It wasn't our government. So these people that are right now living in tents, freezing out here, before too long will have a nice warm tiny home to call their home for a while. And that will be before the winter sets in real cold. But in the meantime, they're living in tents and it's cold. And they're being kept warm by propane heaters that were not issued by the government. They came from people like y'all. People like my people back home that has sent me with 2 big truckloads of supplies. The kindness of others. That is who is keeping Western North Carolina strong. So if you've made a donation, if you have brought supplies, if you have sent supplies, let me tell you, those supplies, they're very greatly appreciated, because if it was not for those, these people would have been left out alone, left out to freeze, left out hungry. If I'm wrong, prove it. You can't. I'm not even here to throw shade on. I don't know enough about how it works. I don't know. I know about the military though. Why? Because I was a military brat pretty much my whole life. I know how that stuff works. They could have been here on the ground. They could have been here. They could have been searching for survivors. They could have been searching for, you know, even victims, just to get their bodies, to provide to the family. And for them saying that there's 200, 250, 300 dead, don't believe that either. That's so far from the truth. I sit here right now and I'm telling you, I've smelt death so much in the last few days. I'll find myself just walking around trying to find the source, and you can't. It's everywhere. It's all around you. You can't find the source of it. It's everywhere. So just pray for Swannanoa. Pray, because they were hit very hard. Pray for all of the volunteers, because they're working from sun up to sundown. They're tired, but they're not giving up. And the people of Swannanoa have to be some of the most amazing people I've ever met. So stay strong, guys. See ya.
Shout outs to Jill Leanne, 13, on the ground. And Swannanoa, telling it how it is. It's heartbreaking to hear. I totally agree, 100%. Anyone could have been there. Should have been our military. She ain't trying to throw shade on these other organizations, but she knows firsthand because she's a military brat. So I totally feel it. My hearts and prayers go to the people of Western North Carolina, especially with this winter coming up and they're staying intense. It's heartbreaking.
You need to listen to this. Yes.
I don't even believe in free will.
Tell me more.
If you can control all the variables, you can control someone's behavior. If I wanted everyone in here to take all of their clothes off, I could guarantee that I could do it. I would just raise the temperature of this room to a point, and we just stay in here until I'd lock the doors and raise the temperature, and then eventually all of us would take our clothes off. And so if I can change the conditions to get a behavior, then did that person have free will? And so B.F. Skinner is one of the forefathers of this behavioral. He has this quote that I just love, and it'll be at the beginning of one of my books. But everyone says that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. He said, false. He said, if I salted the horse's mouth and I dehydrated the horse for weeks, and then I put its mouth right in front of water, I can veritably guarantee that it will drink. When I think about like sales processes for that reason, is that there is a perfect sales process. There is a way that we can get it so that we can control all of the variables that every single person would buy.
There's many times where I spoke about how free is your will. When the situations and circumstances are guiding you to do certain things, is your will really free? And if that didn't make sense to you, you're in denial. You're in denial. Plausible deniability. Because you're not ever thinking critically on what shit is. You need to think. Honestly. You still think you have free will to choose your religion? Woo! Isn't it ironic? What he said is facts. Everything he said is facts. You can coerce a person through situations and circumstances and realize that the illusion is free will. You have the illusion of free will. But how free is your will when you're only given two options? Let's get it? Like, you think you're choosing Republican or Democrat, or is that the situation, circumstances that are giving you the choice of that when there's others, but they're not letting you become privy to that information? Message! Peace to God.
Someone told me to do Doritos. Well, how many of you guys are eating this right now? See, this is why they always come out with these new flavors, to entice you guys to buy this, y'all. Like, this is what you're getting yourselves into. Prepare yourselves. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Bro, even deeper into this. Y'all see this? Like, even the bugs have like metals in them, y'all. Those transparent, translucent bugs, they got metals in them, the dark things. You can't even see them on the chip unless it's magnified. Are you kidding me? That's invasive. That is extremely invasive. And for them to give us this, y'all, oh my goodness. Did y'all know as in 2012, the USDA does not mandate what ingredients go into food and drinks? Did y'all know that? But look at them little things, y'all. That is so creepy. So yeah, how many of you guys are eating this right? Y'all got them in your dishes right now just staring at this. Oh my goodness, y'all. That just gives me the chills. So if you love Doritos or any kind of snacks, this is what you're getting yourself into. But let me know what you guys think about this video. Let's continue to get this shit, y'all. Peace in.
Shout outs to Conscious Juice. Doritos, what's going on? I thought the Oreos was bad. This is even worse. And he make a good point. They coming out with new flavors every month. I'm definitely staying away from those.
He was known as Negajita, and in Egypt, he was known as Thoth, but also known as Tahuti and Jehuti throughout that region as well, throughout Africa.
What exactly is the King's List?
It's a tablet that's got cuneiform on 4 sides, all 4 sides. I saw it in person. I've gone to visit it myself in the Ashmolean Museum at Oxford, England. This has a list of kings that ruled antediluvial time period. So we're talking about before the flood. So before the Great Flood, we're talking about kings that ruled. Alagar ruled for 36,000 years, and all these Alulim ruled for 28,800 years, and all these time frames are just crazy time frames. And it tells you when their ruling ended, where the kingship was moved, what part of Mesopotamia kingship was moved to as they ended their reigns. It moved all around the region, staying within the same Mesopotamian area. And then the Great Flood came. And when the Great Flood came, that's when the kings after the flood, the lifespans were, or the ruling years were going down, 1,800, 600, 500, 400. I mean, it's going down the tubes.
So, I mean, it's only because that's when you hear the story of Moses. He lived to 800 years.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Billy Carson, talking about the King's List. It's like what Yo Mike's was talking about in the last video. A 28,000 year reign. That is crazy.
Energy fields that enable people like Ingo Swann to leave their body and travel through space are thought to be responsible for causing objects to move. This rare talent for moving objects by force of will alone has been termed Psychokinesis, or PK. Ninel Kuragina is a Russian housewife who has this ability. These films of her demonstrating PK were made in a Russian hotel room and smuggled out of the country by American researchers. She gets the object moving with gestures of her hands or by fixating the object with nothing more than her eyes. Kuragina has been studied intensively for more than 10 years by Professor Sergeyev of Leningrad University, who has reported on her work. These films and demonstrations are subjects of unending controversy. Is she a sensitive or a charlatan? According to those present at these demonstrations, it sometimes takes Mrs. Kuragina 2 to 4 hours to rev up her supernormal powers. Her pulse races to 250 beats a minute. She loses up to 3 pounds after a demonstration of psychokinesis. Edward Naumov is a Soviet researcher sitting to the left of Ninel Kuragina. He reports she was actually much sicker than she looks in the film. The strain on her heart was so great, we had to stop the camera several times. It took us over 7 hours to make the film, and afterward she temporarily could not speak or see. For days after doing the tests, her arms and legs hurt. She felt dizzy and could not sleep. She described a sensation that usually heralds success, a sensation like that of a hot stream of energy traveling from the base of her spine up to the back of her neck and remaining there as if waiting for her to direct it. She adds ruefully that this hot current often leaves her with a bad headache.
So Brazil experienced this rare phenomenon. They are calling it Arco-Íris de Fogo, which is basically a rainbow fire in the sky. This thing looks like a ship that's moving up there that looks like it's on fire, like a rainbow fire. Look at all these colors, y'all. Check this out. Look, not just that, but people was also able to take pictures of it, y'all. This is in Brazil. Look at that. Look at that. Look at all these colors that's coming off of this cloud. But this thing looks like it's ripping through. Y'all see that? Like the firmament is breaking. The sky is falling like Chicken Little. Look at that. It looks like clouds entering from another realm. Y'all see that? And then it went to looking like this. Oh my goodness, bro. Look at that, bro. This is exciting, man. I don't know about y'all, man. It looks like flames in the sky, fire in the sky. Bro, if these things didn't exist, would y'all believe this? Like, it looks out of worldly. This is literally Lisa Frank, y'all. Like the magic unicorn. Look at that, y'all. It looks like a whole nother entity. This video got like 8 million views, y'all, and it's still going. That's how popular this thing is in Brazil. They even noticed that the planet is changing, but look, it's like a huge ship. Y'all see the outline? Look at that, y'all. Look at that. That's crazy. Wow. What an amazing time to be alive, to be experiencing all of this on this realm, y'all. We get to tell our children that we were part of this great shift. I've been telling y'all we in that rainbow portal. Ain't no telling how deep that rabbit hole goes. But let me know what you guys think about this video. Let's continue to get this shift, y'all. Peace in.
Peace in. Shout outs to Conscious Juice. He be finding them clips, man. What was that? Rainbow ring of fire. Whoever took that video was in a car, most definitely.
I have no idea why the news is not covering this. Spain has been being destroyed for days now, by floods. And if you've been paying attention, you know that it's not just Spain, it's all over the world. It's just randomly, sporadically flooding. And it's not just flooding in Spain, there's tornadoes like they've never even seen before. So please tell me what's going on with this weather. And also, we have a not so good surprise at the end for the first week in November, possibly. But again, why is no news covering this? Notice how this stays the whole time. Right by my head, as if there's some kind of source. Did I mention absolutely crazy hail? I mean, it looks like the world's going to hail. Here's an airport that got flooded out. And again, it's flooding all over the world consistently. And the possibility for Hurricane Patty hitting us exactly where Helene and Milton did on the 5th or 6th of November is increasingly possible. I'll just say it, I think it's going to happen. With everything going on right now, it seems like it's going to happen. Let me know what you think below. Just another day for 2024.
And that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed tonight's rabbit hole. Before we go, I want to give a huge shout out to Sammy T on becoming the channel's newest member. Thank you, Sammy. I appreciate your support. Peace and blessings. If you haven't already, please take a second
just to smash that like, subscribe, ring that notification bell,
just to make sure the algorithm know what's up. So what we gonna do, y'all? That's right. Run these numbers up. Thanks again. Until next time.